looks like I'm back again. This is a much later video that I usually make, but this is why as Aiden. Now, I'm going to show you something before I get to the video. This is an old video. It's outdated by a little bit, or at least based off my information at the time, it is quite inaccurate. So what I'm gonna do is just recap everything to show you everything, if nothing updated in this area. I just want to redo this because it's just old. So I have a bit more information on these now, so I can just say other stuff about those or about these things that are better. So first of all, we're gonna have this tower right here. Now, I originally said it had TWR LEDs on this thing. However, after looking back at these, I think these ones, I have a better idea just to call these old school LEDs. So if you were confused by LT, these are old school LEDs. They flash like a flash technology dual strobe at night. And I didn't mention this, but it used to look different back then. It had like another antenna on it. But I need to get to it. 2011. See, this antenna was smaller and it had this thing right here. But this is not about old Street View, this is about modern Street View. So I'm just gonna get to the next one now, which is more nonetheless right here. This is the next one. This is a better view of it, because in my opinion, the view of the last one wasn't very good. So I'm just gonna show you a lot of it, because this is a pretty big tower with a lot of stuff going on. I like towers with tons of antennas, and this is the very first one I've probably seen. This is also one of the most memorable towers, in my opinion. This red and white lattice tower right here. This beacon right here. It's a flash technology dual strobe. Common strobe light found on a ton of towers. Childhood beacon. And it's got two antennas, and it's got one set of markers. It does not have a second set of beacons. It would be cool if it had a second set of beacons, but it's like not, it's far from tall enough to have one. This one also used to look different back then. It used to have this thing on it instead of that one thing, which it didn't have in 2017. It's a much newer antenna. But this thing right here was an old antenna. It was nostalgic, but I don't remember this. What the heck? Now there's microwave dishes and whatever is going on down here, I'm not sure. But yeah, it looks like it was really changed through the past. So the third one I just need to move slightly, but this is not a Google Street View. This is a random guy going on this road. I don't know who would do that. This isn't even New York City. Why don't you guys just choose New York City? Keep track of time. About 4 minutes on the video. This one I'm kind of sad about right now, because I wish the beacon was working. This is an AM tower. It's got, oddly enough, lightning rod style antennas. Nothing else. But this tower right here, if you see what's on top of it, you know what that is. It's an LED. No, it's not. It's an old school incandescent beacon. And I'm looking at the tower. It looks like it has two sets of markers around here and around here. So yeah, there used to be a working beacon on this one right here. It's very sad to see that they're no longer working. For a long time, I thought I just have never seen this one at night. So I thought for a long time that this thing actually worked. And for a little bit, strangely enough, I thought this one had an LED as well, like a night mode only LED. But nowadays I question that because it has an incandescent beacon. Here are the next two. These are the two TV towers. So I'm gonna first say what I call the two cell towers in this area. Hold on a second, my mom is... I call this one cell tower 1 and this one cell tower 2 because I just remember looking at it like this, and this was the first one that I'd see, and this was the second that I'd see. And here are the big TV towers in the area. This is the first one. Now, I said it just had some sort of LED back then, but to classify it better, this one has old LEDs. I'm not talking about standard old schools that you'd usually find on towers like this, but this one actually has really old school LED beacons. Like, I'm talking about very old ones that flashed kind of like incandescent beacons at night. This one flashes like a flash technology dual strobe at night with the fade. I like to call them fading LED beacons. Those are my favorite of any kind of LED beacon. I just call them fading LEDs because I used to call incandescent beacons fading beacons. I don't remember this tower ever having incandescent beacons, though. I only remember seeing LEDs. For a long time, I actually thought this one had, like, standard LEDs that would flash normal at night. Like, they wouldn't fade like incandescent beacons. Then I got closer to this at night and discovered it's actually the really cool fading beacons. I've seen this at night probably some of the most times out of any tower, and it looks spectacular at night. But not as spectacular as the really insane story of the tallest tower in Akron. Yeah, this is the tallest structure, I'm pretty sure, in Summit County, Ohio. This, a giant TV tower. Yeah, this one is ginormous. Now, last video, I said it just had incandescent beacons, but I didn't specify what type they were. They're modern incandescent beacons. They don't have the clear glass with the red tube inside of it. Oh, and I also forgot to say how much sets this one has. This one has 3 sets of LEDs. This one here has 4 sets of incandescent. So, this one is way taller. This is, I'm pretty sure I searched this up on Antenna Search, and this tower gone up to a massive height of 1,070 feet. That is taller than even the tallest building in the state of Ohio, and almost as tall as the tallest building in California. Yeah, almost the tallest in California. Now, to say more things about this tower, I'm going to talk about weird things that have happened on this tower, which they're all about beacon malfunctions, because this tower has had a few beacon malfunctions. Let's start off with the very first one, which in my opinion was the saddest malfunction. Luckily, it still has incandescence today. I remember one time driving from Canton, I'm pretty sure it was Canton, which has a few cool cell towers down there. But this one right here, the only 2 beacons that worked were the 2 bottom sets of markers. And that's it. The incandescence, and I'm pretty sure it was a power failure with the, because shortly after they fixed it, and now it's working like smooth as ever now. But then, this actually happened a few times before. This set of incandescent beacons right here, one of the incandescent beacons on this tower just would stay stationary, but then would sometimes start flashing again. And that was probably the most mysterious one in my opinion, because I don't know how that happens. It's probably some weird thing to do with a controller failure. And the last weird malfunction, it's not that weird. I think it happened a few times before. And this is a very small chance, but it actually kind of might be happening right now. I don't know if the highest set of markers, I don't know if they work. I said I don't know if they work. They may do. I didn't think they do. This one is probably one of my favorite tire towers on the planet. Maybe even my personal favorite. Mostly from being one of my main childhood towers. I've seen this I've knew what towers were when I was very little. But one main thing I remember is that this one was probably my favorite. But then there was one final, I have to mention one more thing. A sad fate. Say a goodbye to this. First of all, I want to tell you what color this cell tower is, because it is quite strange if you first look at it. This cell tower here is actually red and white. However, it does look gray from this view. Well, I'm pretty sure that's because the top was gray, but then the rest of it was red and white. But as for the beacon on this tower had a white-only strobe light. It was the quick flash. Now, I never remember this tower having LEDs at all. But yeah, there used to be 6 towers in this area. This one I tend to forget about the most because it's the most forgettable of any kind of tower. Or probably in Akron. It got torn down, but when a tower gets torn down, I have an easy chance of forgetting it. And that's it. That's the sad story of that tower. But to speak of, I'm going to show you 2 more towers that got destroyed. These are 2 bonus towers. Now, if you see other towers, I'm just going to ignore those towers. So we're not going to talk about these 2. This one has a beacon, but this was one of them. I tend to forget this one a lot. It was beaconless. But it's a lattice tower, but it had a very long antenna. And the other one I'm actually going to talk a little bit more about, because this one was pretty strange. It's somewhere around here. It's this tower right here. This cell tower right here, though it looks normal, the beacon that it got demolished with makes probably very little sense. I don't remember what it was, but it was some sort of LED beacon. If I was guessing what type of LED it had, I'm gonna guess the old school, because it would be the only logical one that it would have if it would have gotten torn down. This is in Brecksville or Richfield, because we're still in Summit County. This tower here is in Brecksville, but I'm gonna talk to that in a future video. That's it for every kind of tower, and a recap for an older video and just a few other cell towers. Bye.